Hello everyone, this is the study guide on the novel Waiting for the Mahatma. Introduction. Waiting for the Mahatma is a novel by R.K. Narayan, first published in 1955. Set against the backdrop of the Indian freedom movement, the story intertwines a personal narrative with historical events, focusing on the life of a young man named Sri Ram. Plot. Sri Ram's early life. Sri Ram, a 20-year-old orphan living with his grandmother in the fictional town of Malgudi, leads a sheltered and uneventful life. His life takes a dramatic turn when he meets Bharati, a young woman dedicated to the Indian independence movement led by Mahatma Gandhi. Involvement in the freedom movement. Intrigued and infatuated by Bharati, Sri Ram joins the movement, initially more out of a desire to be near her than from political conviction. However, as he becomes more involved, he starts to understand and appreciate the principles and goals of the movement. Relationship with Bharati. Sri Ram's relationship with Bharati deepens, but their romance is complicated by their involvement in the struggle for independence. Bharati is a devoted follower of Gandhi's principles, especially non-violence and truth, and these beliefs sometimes put her at odds with Simran's less disciplined approach. Simran's growth and development. Throughout the novel, Sri Ram grows from a naive and aimless young man into a more mature and committed individual. His involvement in the freedom movement, his interactions with Gandhi, and his love for Bharati all contribute to his personal development. Mahatma Gandhi's influence. Gandhi is a pivotal figure in the story, and his teachings, philosophy, and leadership deeply impact the characters, particularly Sri Ram and Bharati. Gandhi's presence in the novel is both a guiding moral force and a source of conflict, and his principles often require personal sacrifices from his followers. Climax and resolution. The climax of the novel coincides with the turbulent events leading to India's independence. Sri Ram's commitment to the movement and his relationship with Bharati are both tested. The novel concludes with the achievement of Indian independence and a resolution to Sri Ram and Bharati's story, though not without significant personal costs. Themes: political awakening and personal growth. Sri Ram's transformation. The novel traces Sri Ram's development from a naive, directionless young man to someone deeply involved in the Indian independence movement. This theme highlights the transformative power of political engagement on personal growth and identity. Influence of political context. Sri Ram's journey is not just personal. It's shaped by the broader political context of the time, illustrating how historical events can profoundly affect individual lives. Influence of Mahatma Gandhi. Philosophy and teachings. Gandhi's principles of non-violence, truth, and civil disobedience play a central role in the novel. His presence and ideology influence the characters' actions and beliefs, serving as a moral compass for them. Gandhi as a catalyst. Gandhi's character acts as a catalyst for change, not only in the political landscape, but also in the personal lives of Sri Ram and Bharati and others involved in the movement. Love and sacrifice. Sri Ram and Bharati's relationship. Their love story is interwoven with the independence movement. The theme explores how love can both inspire and complicate involvement in a larger cause. Sacrifice for beliefs. Both characters make significant sacrifices for their beliefs and for each other, reflecting the often painful choices faced by those committed to a cause greater than themselves. Moral and ethical dilemmas. Conflicting desires and beliefs. Sri Ram in particular faces several moral dilemmas as he navigates his personal desires and his commitment to Gandhi's principles. The theme underscores the complexity of ethical decision making in a tumultuous era. Challenges of adhering to ideals. The novel portrays the challenges and internal conflicts that arise when trying to adhere to high moral and ethical standards, especially during politically charged times. Indian independence movement. Backdrop of historical events. The struggle for Indian independence forms the backdrop of the novel, providing a historical context for the characters' actions and growth. Impact on ordinary people. Narayan provides insight into how this monumental movement impacted the lives of ordinary citizens, offering a more personal perspective on a significant period in Indian history. Characters. Sri Ram. Initial naivety. Sri Ram starts as a somewhat naive young man living with his grandmother in Malgudi. His early life is marked by a lack of direction and purpose. Personal growth. His involvement in the independence movement, largely influenced by his love for Bharati and admiration for Gandhi, catalyzes his growth. Throughout the novel, Sri Ram evolves into a more mature and politically aware individual. Complex journey. Sri Ram's journey is not straightforward. He faces moral dilemmas and challenges that test his character and beliefs, reflecting the novel's themes of political awakening and moral complexity. Bharati. Commitment to idealism. Bharati is depicted as a dedicated follower of Mahatma Gandhi, deeply committed to the principles of non-violence and truth. Her character embodies the idealism and fervor of the freedom movement. Influence on Sri Ram. She plays a significant role in Sri Ram's life, being the catalyst for his involvement in the movement and his subsequent personal transformation. Her dedication and convictions challenge and inspire Sri Ram. Mahatma Gandhi. Pivotal figure. Gandhi is a central figure in the novel, both as a character and as a symbol. His teachings, philosophy, and leadership in the freedom movement profoundly impact the other characters, especially Sri Ram and Bharati. Moral guide. Gandhi serves as a moral and ethical guide in the novel. His presence and ideals provide a backdrop against which the characters' actions and decisions are measured and understood. Other characters. Sri Ram's grandmother. She represents the older generation and traditional values. Her interactions with Sri Ram offer insights into family dynamics and generational differences in perspectives. Freedom movement members. These characters, including activists and supporters of Gandhi, add to the portrayal of the independence movement, reflecting its diversity and the various challenges faced by those involved. Residents of Malgudi. The various residents of Malgudi contribute to the novel's rich tapestry, each adding a unique dimension to the story. They help in portraying the broader societal context and the impact of historical events on ordinary people. Symbolism. Malgudi, microcosm of India. Malgudi, the fictional town in which the novel is set, serves as a symbol of India itself. It encapsulates the diverse aspects of Indian society, culture, and the varied responses to the independence movement. Reflection of societal changes. As events unfold in Malgudi during the freedom struggle, the town reflects the broader societal and political changes occurring in India at the time. The reactions of Malgudi's residents to these events mirror the nation's varied and complex responses to the call for independence. The river Sarayu, flow of time. The river Sarayu in the novel symbolizes the continuous flow of life. It represents the constant and unending nature of change, mirroring the characters' journeys and the transformative period of the independence movement. Symbol of change and continuity. The river's presence in the story underscores the themes of transformation and continuity. Just as the river flows and changes, the characters, particularly Sri Ram, undergo significant changes while life in Malgudi continues amidst the backdrop of a historical struggle. Gandhi's teachings, struggle for truth and non-violence. Gandhi's teachings in the novel are symbolic of the struggle for truth, non-violence, and moral integrity. They represent the idealistic and ethical approach to fighting oppression and achieving political freedom. Moral and ethical guide. The principles espoused by Gandhi serve as a moral and ethical guide for the characters, especially Sri Ram and Bharati. These teachings challenge the characters to make difficult choices and often to sacrifice personal desires for a greater cause. Inspiration and conflict. Gandhi's philosophy also symbolizes the internal conflicts and inspirations experienced by the characters. While they are inspired by his ideals, they also struggle with the practical implications of adhering to such high standards in the face of political and personal challenges. Literary devices, irony, contradictions in Sri Ram's character. Narayan uses irony to highlight the contradictions in Sri Ram's actions and beliefs. For instance, Sri Ram joins the freedom movement initially to be near Bharati rather than out of any political conviction, and yet he finds himself deeply involved in the cause. Gap between ideals and reality. The irony in the novel often lies in the difference between the characters' ideals, particularly those inspired by Gandhi, and the practical realities they face. This contrast adds a layer of complexity to the narrative and underscores the challenges of living up to high moral standards. Foreshadowing. Hints of future events. Narayan subtly foreshadows both historical events and the fates of the characters. This technique not only builds suspense but also helps in creating a sense of inevitability about the characters' journeys and the larger historical context in which they are set. Reflection of historical context. The use of foreshadowing in relation to the independence movement adds historical depth to the story, allowing readers familiar with the period to anticipate key developments. Imagery. Vivid descriptions of Malgudi. Narayan's imagery brings the fictional town of Malgudi to life, capturing the essence of the place and its atmosphere. His descriptions paint a vivid picture of the town's streets, the river Sarayu, and the daily life of its inhabitants. Evocations of the era. The imagery also effectively evokes the era of the independence movement, helping to immerse the reader in the historical and cultural context of the story. This use of descriptive language enhances the reader's engagement with the narrative. Characterization. Depth and nuances in characters. Narayan excels in deep and nuanced characterization, particularly evident in the protagonist Sri Ram. The characters are developed with a complexity that reflects their personal struggles, growth, and the impact of the larger political movement on their lives. Supporting characters. The characterization of Bharati, Gandhi, and other supporting characters adds depth to the exploration of the novel's themes. Each character is distinct and contributes to the narrative's exploration of political, moral, and personal themes. Narrative style. Simple storytelling approach. Clarity and accessibility. Narayan is known for his straightforward and clear storytelling, which makes the narrative easily accessible to a wide range of readers. Despite its simplicity, it successfully conveys the complexities of the plot and characters. Engaging and relatable. The simplicity of the narrative style makes the story engaging and relatable. It allows readers to easily immerse themselves in the world of Malgudi and the lives of its inhabitants. depth and insight, exploration of complex themes. While the storytelling might appear simple on the surface, Narayan's narrative is rich in depth and insight. It delves into complex themes such as political awakening, moral dilemmas, and personal growth, offering profound reflections on these topics. Psychological depth. Narayan provides deep insights into the characters' psychology, particularly in how they respond to the changing political landscape and their personal relationships. This depth adds layers of meaning to the narrative. Trademark wit and empathy. Subtle humor. Narayan's narrative is often laced with wit, which adds a layer of subtlety and charm to the story. This wit is never overbearing but serves to lighten the narrative and endear the characters to the reader. Empathetic portrayal of characters. Narayan's empathy for his characters shines through his narrative style. He portrays them with a deep understanding and compassion, which allows readers to empathize with their struggles, triumphs, and failures. Evocative descriptions. Vivid imagery. Narayan's narrative is rich in vivid descriptions, especially of the town of Malgudi and its surroundings. These descriptions help to create a strong sense of place that is almost character-like in its presence with the novel. Cultural and historical context. Reflective of Indian society. The narrative style is deeply reflective of Indian society and culture, particularly during the era of the independence movement. Narayan's storytelling brings this period to life, providing valuable insights into the historical context. Structure. Linear progression. Chronological unfolding. The novel follows a linear chronological progression which effectively charts the protagonist Sri Ram's journey from an aimless youth to a politically awakened individual. This straightforward progression allows the reader to easily follow Sri Ram's transformation and the impact of historical events on his life. Integration of personal growth and historical events. Parallel narratives. Narayan skillfully interweaves Sri Ram's personal growth with the unfolding of significant historical events, particularly those related to the Indian independence movement. This dual narrative structure provides a comprehensive view of both the character's development and the larger historical context. Historical context as a backdrop. The Indian independence movement serves as a backdrop and a catalyst for the plot's progression and Sri Ram's personal development. The structure ensures that historical events are not just a setting but an integral part of the narrative, influencing the character's decisions and growth. Development of relationships. Evolution of key relationships. The linear structure also enables Narayan to develop the relationships in the novel, particularly between Sri Ram and Bharati and their interactions with Mahatma Gandhi. This progression highlights how these relationships evolve and influence Sri Ram's character and choices. Thematic exploration. Unfolding of themes. The structure allows for a gradual exploration of the novel's key themes, such as political awakening, moral and ethical dilemmas, love, and sacrifice. As Sri Ram navigates his way through personal and political challenges, these themes are explored and developed in a coherent and cumulative manner. Culmination and resolution. Building to a climax. The linear progression builds towards the climax of the Indian independence movement, paralleling the culmination of Sri Ram's personal journey. This structure brings a sense of resolution to both the historical narrative and the protagonist's story. Reflective and insightful ending. Reflective conclusion. The novel concludes with a reflective and somewhat open-ended resolution, encouraging readers to contemplate the impact of the journey on Sri Ram and the lasting implications of the historical period the novel covers. So this was the study guide on the novel Waiting for the Mahatma. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other novel. Until then, goodbye and thank you.